So, welcome to our new Spotlight series where we're going to dive into the dynamic world of facilities management. This series aims to shed light on the diverse career paths within FM, engage fresh talent to the industry, and provide insightful case studies. So, we'll be exploring the various different types of contracts and roles that professionals encounter in their FM careers and showcasing the sector's broad spectrum of opportunities. So, I'm delighted today to welcome Tom Page. Tom's Regional Director of VIVO Defence Services. Hi, Tom.
Hello, Michelle.
So I'd like to start, Tom, on your career journey, really, and finding out a little bit about how you got into FM in the first place, what initially attracted you to the sector, and how you've got from where you came into the sector to now, really.
Of course. So it's been it's certainly been a roller coaster. It's been a thoroughly enjoyable period of my career. But I remember being told by some of my previous leadership that you don't choose FM chooses you, and that's kind of stuck in my head. It's an incredibly diverse work environment that I've come to learn over the years because there's so many different avenues within the space of FM that can be explored. It's not a finite area that you can go into and do the same thing within that given day. You can explore, you can move within that part of the delivery aspect, and you can grow your skill set within the same organisation, which is quite unique to our industry. I mean, I originally started my career as an engineer. I was a mechanical electrical engineer working in the local area. I then found myself working for a company called Babcock Dyncourt on the British Air Force bases. And during that time, I was given the opportunity by the management at the time to progress into the office environment and take on roles within work supervision and mechanical electrical project management. I must confess, initially I was a bit restrained around it because I quite enjoyed my role, but I did relent, and I did take the guidance and move into the office, and it was the best decision that I ever made for the exposure to that environment. So within the time at Babcock Dyncourt on the MOD basis, I spent approximately 4 years within that space during that term of contract, and I moved through, I believe, 4 main roles, 5 different output of roles within that time, and that for me really exposed how you can really move within the space of FM to grow your skill set. So in one aspect, I was responsible for sort of engineering resource and management supervision. The next was mechanical projects and electrical fit outs for major construction. And then it was into energy and sustainability projects on a regional basis. And then it was back down into sort of overarching operational management, looking after teams of people, teams of project managers. That business, that kind of area really enabled me to move through my career path. And I had some really fantastic employer and fantastic line manager at the time that gave me that opportunity. I don't honestly think that in the wider environment in different sectors you would be able to have that type of exposure to different areas within the same sort of market area. So that was really enjoyable for me. That kind of sort of whet my appetite for the industry. It showed me that I can really sort of spread my skill sets, grow myself as an individual, and add value to businesses within that market. At the time, I then moved into another facilities management company called Sodexo, moved into them to help them mobilise some hard services contracts. And that was kind of moving from quite a siloed environment for a contract, very specific in nature, to a very broad, very large business with much larger governance processes and exposure to the corporate environment, which is a real learning curve for me at the time as well. Once I finished my roles within there and setting those contracts up, I then moved over to a smaller, sort of small to medium size SME within the Midlands, focusing in within the sort of food and manufacturing, the pharmaceutical environments within ADI Group. And that gave me a really different perspective on the business, because that was a much more specific area of FM within the sort of the project delivery and the engineering maintenance, but on a smaller scale, so direct into customer rather than through framework and larger agreements. It gave me a really good insight into the differences you can experience from a small organisation and the approach around governance and process to a much larger organisation.
Very different.
At the time, it was very different. It was, but it's all learning, and it gave me that appreciation to how the market is so diverse, with the people that contribute to the market, that deliver the services into our customers, our shared customers, and how the sort of the unique service offerings within those businesses can really support people in their career paths. But with my time with ADI, really gave me that insight into really specific high risk environments within food and manufacturing, within pharmaceutical sector, which gave me a kind of another aspect to my career that has helped me through it. I then, while I was at ADI, I then got the opportunity to move back into the MOD space of where I am at the moment, and I've been here for the past just over the past 4 years, through NG, and then through to Equans, and now through to VIVO Defence Services. It's an interesting environment, very demanding, very challenging, but I do love it. It is very, very enjoyable. The client pressures, I mean, in all aspects, the client pressures have different needs and wants, but it's what makes it really valuable, that you are delivering a product for a customer, and you can go along with them on that journey. The sort of the military environment certainly adds a quirk for myself, and it is thoroughly enjoyable. I've now spent the past sort of 8.5, 9 years within that sector, which has been really enjoyable for me. But specifically within that, I've been able to expose myself through the frontline engineering to the supervision, to the major projects, to the client negotiations, bid management, sales. It's been a really enjoyable career path. And I certainly wouldn't be without it at this stage. So I'm glad I made the decision many, many years ago. So yes, it's that's kind of my career thus far as to where I find myself at the moment.
Thanks for that, Tom. That's brilliant. I mean, that probably leads us quite nicely into my next question, which is, really about the sort of diversity and dynamic nature of FM. Can you describe a little bit more in some of the projects, perhaps, that you've been involved in, where you've experienced such sort of dynamic working and diversity in some of the roles you've held, and also really how do you prioritize when some of the unexpected challenges arise, which particularly in the military environment, I'm sure is a daily thing.
It is. It adds to the fun. If I'm honest, while it does sometimes play havoc with the structure of the environment, it's what makes it enjoyable, because it allows that dynamic approach to it. It allows for that that agile approach to work, and to be innovative and focus on the value add for our customers and clients. What I've always tried to hold at the heart of what I do and what with the people that work with me and for me is that we are here because we have customers that need something, that they want our services within that. We are a people-led business, so we don't manufacture stuff, we don't sell cars or parts. We provide services through our great people. So client management and client expectation is a huge part of that, of how we enable that. A large proportion of the other aspects of the role can be learned, can be taught, can be taken on that journey, but a significant part of that is how we engage with our people, how we engage with our clients, and how we understand their requirements. Once we understand what their pressures are, we can then adapt our process to suit, and we can enable them on that journey. I suppose in terms of some of the projects and involvements I've had over the years, one that is quite specific for me, which was challenging but very enjoyable, was sort of 4.5 years ago when I moved into the role that I am. We had an instance where sadly we had a poor position on the contract. We had a contract that had departed in not a great state of play. We had quite a fractured team and resource. We had a difficult maintenance setup, and we had a very, very distrustful and unhappy client at that moment in time. So that certainly made for a very uphill challenge in that regard. And we spent a good 18 months of that initial engagement building, sort of brick upon brick, that relationship of that trust, that proven exercise of delivery, and working with them to the point of which we're sitting here now, sort of 4.5 years later. We're very much the same team, the same business, albeit under the joint venture now, under the Reprocure, because we have that really close relationship with our client and our customer, because they trust what we do. They trust what we say. So what we try to sort of embed within the teams, within the culture of what we do, is know your customer, know their requirements, build the trust, and then take them on that journey. Everything else will come with that along the process. And it did take a lot of time. It took a lot of effort and pressure onto the team. It was a lot of hard work, but we are now able as a team to sit back on that and look at the results of what we've reaped from that. And the team can be proud of it. We've now taken that forward to some more sites across the UK for what we look after, and we can now bring that value add and that benefit to them as well. And that's what I enjoy. That's what the teams enjoy. So they don't see it, or I don't personally see it. I certainly don't see it. We don't just see it as a job. We enjoy what we do. We love what we do because we get to go on that journey with our customer. That's what makes the job so enjoyable. While the industry, this market, allows the team to really grow their skill sets for the variety of outputs, from maintenance to asset to procurement to commercial to project delivery, or just engineering management in that regard. It's not a specific area. So it's not a project in a consultancy area where it starts and it finishes and then it's the next one. It's the same customer, it's the same relationship that might span. I've got some employees within my remit that have been on these sites for 25 years. They're there because they love being there, and they're part of the operation that happens on these sites, and it's fantastic to see.
Yeah, good. It's that people-centric piece, isn't it? And building relationships and the trust, like you say, such a huge part of FM, and clearly what you've been doing. I imagine COVID brought quite a challenge as you were partway through rebuilding those relationships as well.
Yes, it was challenging timing, to say the least. So obviously, the maintenance operations project, we couldn't stop in that regard. So we still had to operate. We just had to evolve to the new ways of working, the approach, and working with our client, because of the nature of the environment of our customer being the military. Obviously, they didn't go home. They were still there. They were still operating. We were sort of essential workers, key workers in that regard, because we were maintaining the military establishments on Ireland. It was a journey. We had to be flexible. We had to evolve with the process and do things better, work around the challenges that we had. The FM picks you, and it certainly tests you for what you can do. But the rewards are huge, and the opportunities are extensive for people to grow in the market.
So I think you've probably covered some of the points on my next question around sort of impactful projects that you've been involved in, and what you're most proud of, really, and what you've enjoyed most. Clearly, the relationship aspects come across in that hugely. But how do you think some of those things have impacted the organisation and the industry as a whole, I guess, and anything new that you think has come through?
I think the bit that I would say is the bit that I've enjoyed the most, certainly in the most recent history, is that when we moved through this most recent award, which went live in December 2019, in 2022, as we went live through that, we took an existing setup, 16 businesses. It was across 3 separate businesses that we had to bring into one way of working. We had to bring them into the same culture, same ethos of how we approach our work. There was obviously the 2P process. There was a very large recruitment exercise that was undertaken, and we're still within that sort of kind of process, because it's only just over a year ago that we've kind of concluded that process. That has been really fundamental to the future of this contract, because we've taken those businesses in together, we brought them into one team. We spent a huge amount of time and effort sort of rebranding those individuals into our ways of working and what our key focuses are, key cultures are, and how we can bring that value out to our customer. And it's been a fantastic journey to bring these people in within the sort of my operational sphere, there's over 300 people within that operational ownership, and we've got some fantastic team members in that. I'm proud to say we've got some people that I've worked with for sort of the past 10, 12 years within there,
Right.
because ironically, FM is a big industry, but it's quite a small circle.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that is fantastic, because you get to know the people within the market, and you get to work with these fantastic people. Bringing that to this contract, to our customer, around that new ways of working, the new generation contracts that we're working on under our new maintenance standards and our approach, that has been a really great success for us as a business. We're not done yet. It's never a finished article. We've got another 4 years of this specific contract, and sort of another 7+ for our other contracts. So it's a long journey ahead for us. But we're always evolving. So.
Yeah, I'm really glad you brought up those points, actually, about the relationships again that you've held for such a long time. I think FM's the best kept secret, isn't it, for people that don't know about it, the younger generation and that sort of thing. And it's really nice to hear that. I feel exactly the same. It's a huge industry, but at the same time, everybody does know each other in a way, and you really can develop those relationships. So it's nice to hear. So I suppose, coming on to things around skills in the market, really, what sort of skills and competencies do you believe are essential for success in an FM career, and how have you really developed those? Obviously, you've come from yourself quite a technical background, so it'd be good to hear your thoughts on that.
So I did come from the technical background. And kind of built my skill set upon that foundation. That said, it for me, it honestly is not necessary within the market. I do honestly believe that client relationship, that management of people, is the absolute cornerstone of what we do. Everything else, it's important within this industry, because it is so large. We've got so many great people and some great talent. We must surround ourselves with the best possible people for the best possible products for our customers. How I've approached it with my team and how I've tried to approach it with myself is, I consider there to be kind of a three-legged stool within it. It's just how I've approached it through my time, is that within a specific area that's important to you, because you must love what you do. And for me, it's the engineering aspects, the building services. That's what I enjoy. So there must be the technical cornerstone, the output cornerstone of your job, and that might be procurement or supply chain management, that might be commercial acumen, it might be financial management, it might be on the technical side, but that should be one cornerstone. The other one is safety. So safety has to be at the heart of what we do. FM is a people business. We are responsible for people and the welfare of those people. So having that at the heart of what we do is a very key part of our business. So that's the second part of it, because we're responsible for people's livelihoods, as well as our supply chain who employ people. So we must ensure that's part of what we do. The final bit for me is, and it's one that the industry has moved, and I've seen it over the past sort of 10, 12 years, it has got better, but the soft skills. So certainly when I moved into it, and for quite some time, there was no real management around how you manage people, the soft skills of things, how you manage clients, how you manage conflict or negotiation, those softer skills elements of what we do. And for me, that is the big ticket item. If you can't manage people appropriately and you can't manage client expectations, you're not going to achieve within it. So do your best to target that area and improve your skill set within that space. If you can get those three areas covered off, that you can, and there's various areas within those bits, but for sort of the soft skills of management, you've got your CMI, you've got ILM training, you can really polish yourself as a manager to how you approach operational leadership, how you manage people, you engage with people. Within the safety aspects, depending on what level, you can move into your IOS or your NEBOSH areas to ensure that we're managing people and services safely within our space as a real key requirement. And then have something that you love, have something that you enjoy that is specific to your job. So whether that be a specific output for engineering, whether it be supply chain or commercial, have that keeps you driven and interested in what you do. If you keep those three areas running, you create a really good foundation to drive yourself forward in your career. And that's been my experience.
Really good advice, Tom. Thank you for that. And definitely important to hook on to that piece that you really love as well, isn't it? And,
Absolutely.
move forward with that. So I think finally, advice then, you've given a bit of advice there for people on how to focus their skills and training and things like that. But what other advice, if you've got any, for anyone who's aspiring to a career in facilities management, would you have? And are there any sort of trends or future developments you think we need to highlight more as an industry to those people who might not know fully what FM is and what's on offer?
I think from a sort of a personal aspect, the thing that I would recommend most is don't be afraid to ask. Please, make sure you put your head above the rest. I would never coach someone to expect it to come to themselves. So always be the one that targets the opportunity. Always be the one that runs as fast as you can forward, because you should do it for yourself. So chase the opportunity. Don't sit back and let it come to you. If you're passionate about what you do, go and grab it with both hands and do what you can. That's my biggest piece of advice. I see it far too often that people while they would like to progress, they don't actively target progressing. So if you simply put your head above the rest, then you've got a much better chance of progressing in your career. So I'd certainly recommend that for future talent within the FM market. The other one around sort of the market, we do have a gap within the market because I don't necessarily see, and it might just be my impression, we don't necessarily see the recruitment actively within the FM market is people that fall within the market. So we have people that come from sort of supply chain specialists or people that come from engineering specialists, and they kind of learn and evolve into the FM market from there. So it would be great to see some more proactive approach from the market, from the industry, to really target how we get people into FM at kind of grassroots level. So in with the schools, in with the colleges, that you don't necessarily have to go and work with a local company doing local mechanical works. You don't necessarily need to go and work in a consultancy. Why don't you explore FM? I don't think we do enough of that, and it would be great to see, because we do have other markets that push that and appropriately go into those grassroots areas. We should do more of that. Show them the benefits and the career paths and the huge opportunity that sits within FM, rather than what I've picked up, which is that people come into the market, they kind of create their speciality within where they're skilled, and then they are recruited into the FM industry. They don't come in as FM apprentices. So that would be my hope, that if the market can really target at ground level, in with the schools, in with the colleges, to encourage people to come straight into the market to grow within the FM sector from the ground level upwards, that would really secure our talent for the future, our succession planning. That would be great to see.
Yeah, and I 100% agree with that, because I'm very passionate about that as well. Well, thank you so much, Tom. I think that's the end of, we've come to the end of the questions there, but I've really enjoyed listening to your story and your career in FM, and thank you for sharing with us. So that's Tom Page, Regional Director of VIVO Defence Services. Thanks again, Tom.
Thank you very much.